Hi, I'm Phil from Tiger Frog, and the aim of this video is to demonstrate Tiger Frog's online bike fitting service and show how it compares and gives as good a results as any in-person service. It just talks you through what we do, how we do it, so enjoy. So we can carry out the online bike fit. We ask that you record yourself on a turbo directly from the side. That's very important. Warmed up so we can get accurate measurements, in tight fitting clothing if you can, and then just film yourself at a normal race pace, normal cadence, just everything as natural as possible to enable us to obtain the most accurate data we can. We then take the video you've provided and we input it into our motion analysis software, Quintic, which is used by British Cycling as well. It's a fantastic piece of software that allows us to measure angles in full motion of the video, so we get some really accurate results, and I'll talk you through some of those angles we see here with this rider. First of all, we've got the knee angle. For this rider we carried out a questionnaire and an interview over the phone before this, and we determined for his riding type and his background, his flexibility, he needed a knee angle of around 145 degrees. Currently 131, so the seats are a long way too low, so straight away we can see that the seat needs to go up. Next, if we look at the effective seat tube angle, as an iron distance triathlete we want him as aerodynamic as possible whilst remaining powerful, and to do this we look for around about 78 to 79 degrees for this rider. Currently sat at 76, this indicates that the seat needs to be moved forward as well as up. Other factors with this rider, a very open shoulder angle here, which is causing him quite a lot of shoulder pain and making it very difficult to remain in the position for 112 miles. Coupled with quite strange back shapes there, very unnatural, where we're looking for more of a curve there, so that also needs looking at. And then last of all is the hip angle. This hip angle is quite closed here. It's causing this rider quite a lot of problems when it comes to breathing and also power as well, very much a dead spot at the top of the power stroke. We need to increase this hip angle up to about 45 degrees for this rider to give him optimum power and also a comfortable position. So having analysed his position now, what we do is we take a screenshot and we put it onto this software here. What we then do is we then put some reference points on, so we're marking the pedal spindle, the ankle, the knee, the hip, the shoulder, the elbow and the hand, and then we put this blue line on here. We talked about earlier we're looking for a 78 degree effective seat tube angle. This is 78 degrees marked on here, and then what we can do using some trigonometry we can work out his angles. So now we've got our reference point put on there, we can draw some lines. So we've got the lower limb, lower leg, upper leg, the body, which is quite curved, quite a strange curve going on there, the upper arm and the lower arm. And then we can measure these distances. We've got a nice online tool we use, which is very handy, and you can measure each one of these in units. And because we know the distance of the top tube, we can convert this into actual distances. It's a very handy tool there. So now doing a bit of maths, we can work out the distance from the toe to the hip to give us 145 degrees at the knee there, and we mark that point on here, and then we can see that that point, to achieve it we need to bring the saddle forwards and the saddle up, and we've got a handy little tool we use which measures in units. So you can see here D, so we can measure how far forwards and how far up we need to go to achieve that hip angle position. So now we know where the hip should be, we're able to actually plot the new lines. So we've plotted the new knee angle and we see where the hip is. From there we can work backwards, so we work out the back, where that's going to go. We straighten it out slightly, and you can see the actual shoulder's going to come up and forwards. We then going to work down with the upper arm, the forearm, to work out exactly where the elbow needs to be. Now we know where the elbow needs to be, we come up with some recommendations for the customer on how to get the elbow to that position, be it a shorter stem, a longer stem, spaces under the stem, elbow pads being raised fore, aft. There's lots of ways of doing it, but we'll come up with saddle up by a certain distance, saddle forward aft by a certain distance, etc. In this case, it is the seat up by 45mm, seat forward by 40m, stem to put 2 spaces under the stem, taking it up 2.8cm, spinning the stem, taking it up another 2cm, and then moving the arm pads backwards by 1cm. We asked the customer then to make these adjustments and to refilm themselves, and this is the output of the video from that one. As you can see, a massive difference. We then take a still from this video and put it back into the last program you saw to see what the changes have actually done in comparison. So here you can see again the initial fit with the ideal lines on it. Now with the new capture, you can see the changes and how they've taken place, and this has worked out extremely well. So you can see the knees come back as we straighten the knee, the hip has moved up to the new hip position, the shoulders move perfectly to the shoulder position, the new one, the elbows come up exactly as we hoped it would, and the front end stayed nice. So it's all worked out really quite well there. So happy that the alterations have had the desired effect. We then feed the video back into Crintic, our motion analysis software, and then to see the actual exact measurements of what's happened. So let's have a quick look at what's happened here. First of all, we're looking at the knee angle, looking for 145. We've pretty much got bang on there. Seat tube angle in green, we got 79.5. We were looking for 78 to 79, so that's perfect. If anything, slightly aggressive, but as you can see, everything else has worked out nicely. The shoulder angle much closer to 90 degrees there, which is really good, and the hip angle we've opened that out to exactly bang on 45. So what we've done is we've made the alterations, we've then checked it, and then we put it back into the motion software to make sure it's perfect. In this case it is, but it may take 2 or 3 times of further alterations to make it absolutely perfect and get that fit spot on. So just to quickly recap and look at this last video, this last slide here really, what we've got is this is the initial position causing lots of problems with backache, shoulder ache, lack of power, and hard to breathe. And what we've done there is we've really straightened it up. If you look at the body angle here, very little of the body shown to the wind. If you look at it initially, the same. So we've not actually made the aero position any worse whatsoever. If anything, the aero position's as good as it's going to get. But what we have done is made it a much more comfortable position. Everything's so much more comfortable. The back, the power output, the front end, the shoulder relief and everything. It's just a much better position for this rider. So hopefully we've shown that the online bike fit can really be extremely effective as an in-person bike fit. The disadvantages are that you have to take the video of yourself, that you have to make the alterations yourself, but on the plus side it fits in really well time wise, it works out a lot cheaper, and the results really are quite good, and you understand a lot more about your position, which is fantastic news. I just want to reiterate though that this rider's a rider, and it's so important that we have the initial consultation, the interview over the phone or via email, the questionnaire filled in, because everybody's very different, and we need to get as much information as we can to work out what angles work best, and what's going to make that rider powerful, what's going to make that rider comfortable, and what's going to make that rider content in the position he's in.